Awesome. Well, welcome. Glad you're here and curious about this offering. You know me well, Kathleen, but for those of you out there who may be watching this later who don't know me, my name is Ami Kazel. I'm an actor and I coach individuals on creativity, acting, voice, and speech, and also executive function skills. So it's really fun kind of putting all those things together and helping folks set goals and create systems for themselves to help reach those goals. So that's partly what this group is going to be about, in a group setting, right? With all of the magic of people coming together to support one another and share ideas and get feedback on things that we're working on. We'll talk more about that. And Brian, who are you?
Who am I? The deep
Today.
questions. First thing today. No, it's so great. It's great to hear you talk about like all the things that bring it together for you and me. I'm Brian Schwartz. I'm a coach and consultant. I do a lot of facilitation, team building, years of experience in higher ed, government, and the private sector. And bringing all that together along with my 10 years now of coaching, an initial stint years ago, and then post my certification with New Ventures West to bring people together, like you said, to help them meet their goals, to get unstuck. I think a lot of times people really have trouble moving forward, but also have some shame about that. And so I think what we want to do is set that shame aside, provide a safe, supportive environment for people to jump into their goals. And I especially love working with groups. I've done a lot of group coaching, team coaching, which we can tell you the distinction of that later if you're interested. Teaching, facilitating, mediation. I have that background too. So I do love working with my individual clients. And if you're interested in that, we can talk about that further. But groups provide an opportunity for people to really come together and support each other, and we'll guide that. It also tends to be a more affordable price point than individual coaching. So often I mention that to people as, a way to still get the support they need. But we're here today just to answer questions, talk a little bit about the sessions. This won't be a long information session, but a few people are like, oh, group coaching, oh, what is it, what's the theme, as I've been talking to them the last few weeks. And so we can talk about some of the themes, plural, today, but we'll just provide a little bit of information about how it will go, the structure, and all of that. Do you want to jump into that, Ami, and I can chime in as well?
Yeah, great. So the groups will meet bi-weekly, so every other week starting next week, a 10 a.m. Tuesday meeting with me as the main host, and then a 7 p.m. Thursday evening meeting with Brian as the main host. We might swap out for each other once or twice during the session if we need to, but that's the main plan. And then whoever signs up can pick one of those times to enroll for. Also knowing that if you can't make your regular Tuesday morning, you could hop into the Thursday evening if that works better for you in a particular week. We've got space for 6 people in each group.
That's right.
So that's going to give a focus for each week. One particular person will have the focus. So our 90 minutes together will consist of a half hour of a facilitated group experience or exercise that's going to get us a little bit in our bodies, a little bit connected to our hearts and to each other. We've got a lot of different things planned, but those will be focused around some of our themes. Then we'll have a 30-minute time where everybody in the group is going to get to check in about what they're working on and working towards. And then the final 30 minutes is going to be focused on one particular participant to get more extra juicier feedback, yes, on their whatever it is, project, goal, intention. So that will probably look like them sharing about it, them receiving some focused questions from Brian, and then some time for the group to also ask questions and provide opportunities for support in whatever way that person might need. And then between times, we'll have a private WhatsApp group for the group to stay in touch, to have check-ins in between. Brian and I will check in with focused questions throughout the week as well, and share resources along the way. What would you add to that, Brian?
That was excellent. Yeah, very comprehensive. The few things I'd add is for the folks watching this recording from the West Coast or for the Mountain Time Zone, we're doing 10 Eastern on Tuesdays and 7 Eastern on Thursdays every other week. So I would just say, you know, from my perspective, and especially we can talk about the retreat we just completed a few weeks ago, that, you know, our styles, I would say, are complementary. There's a lot of overlap. Ami is an actor, and I met her in an acting troupe. I do some acting now, but she's that's, you know, a huge part of what she does. And there's a lot of skills she brings really around creativity, around, you know, getting into your body, around executive functioning, sort of breaking through somatically some of those blocks. So if that sounds especially appealing to you, I think that, you know, 7 a.m. Pacific, if you want to, you know, start your day right and do it before work, or at 10 a.m. Eastern, if you have that flexibility, would be great. Like, especially for the East Coasters, or, you know, folks in Europe, if you haven't finished your day yet. Like, if you are self-employed, you have a more flexible schedule, you're an entrepreneur, connecting with me around your schedule might be easier. Or if you're, you know, a morning person. I'm not a morning person, so I'm glad to be doing the evening session at 7 p.m. My style is, I mean, I learned a lot, I think, from, you know, the work that we've done together around tapping into your creativity, your voice, you know, movement. But that's something that's always fascinated me as well. I'm also a singer-songwriter. In fact, later this afternoon, I'm playing some music for little kids, which I'm pumped about. And, you know, creativity is part of it for me too. But there is no requirement on your end to participate in these groups. You don't have to be creative. You don't have to know what you want to do. We're here to help you through those questions. And, you know, hopefully you can sense it from my vibe in this meeting, but that's a lot of what I bring, is sort of, you know, a strong intuition, a lot of practice asking facilitative questions. I live in Washington, D.C., so even though I have this cool Guayabera on, I'm kind of used to the culture here and how much people are in their head. So part of my training is around somatic intelligence and getting people out of their head and into their body, into, you know, their true selves, their true calling. So that's what those sessions will be like. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's fun to talk about.
I know, because we're excited about it.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And we think you'll enjoy it too.
Yeah.
Should we talk about the retreat a little bit?
Yeah, I was going to say, I think one of the reasons that we're really excited about it is because we came from this retreat experience a few weeks ago that Brian and I created together, and we had a really beautiful group of participants that we led through a series of workshops based around particular themes. And what we got to witness was connection, was people making decisions for themselves about things they want to let go of, things that they want to invite into their lives, set some intentions with the group. And then we saw like a desire for people wanting to have more follow through with that and continue with community around that. So that's part of where this idea is birthed from, to offer these group coaching opportunities. And I think we also noticed people, it's like recognizing that it's helpful to try something new, try a different or new activity around something to shake things up a little bit and get you thinking a different way. So that's all part of that.
Yeah, that makes sense. And the one other thing I'd add, and then I think we can jump into questions is, you know, I love retreats. If you go to my website, brianschwartz.org, you'll see the first blog I ever posted was all about retreats. That was more about kind of team and corporate retreats and, you know, making the intention around it. And I'm sure we, you know, we'll do another retreat coming up because we already have some demand for that. But I'll just second what Ami was saying around, you know, especially as someone who's done a lot of trainings over the years, what I want for people is to have a through line, is to have continued support between these really excellent experiences. We're busy, sure, in our everyday lives, and that's part of why we're only doing 90 minutes every other week, so that it's not like a huge extra thing in your schedule. But as someone was saying to me yesterday, like Labor Day in the fall is sort of like a different new year, right? Like there's the academic calendar. People are trying to kind of make this last third of the year really fulfilling. And so we want to be able to do that and help you do that. And so that if you are going on retreats or other things like that, where you're taking care of yourself, you're able to do that in a more consistent way and meet your goals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah, so I'll address this question from Kathleen,
Please.
who asked, for the calls, would we need a private space to do all the exercises, like a coffee shop versus being at home? I think that I would just like to say whatever is going to work for you is going to work. Probably ideally the week that you're in the spotlight of like sharing about your goal would be nice, more beneficial to have a private space, I would imagine. But if the coffee shop is where you find yourself, going to make it work, right? The exercises, I don't imagine will be really extravagant that you're going to be embarrassing yourself in public. They'll be adaptable to any space.
For sure, for sure. The only thing that popped up for me is if you're in some sort of public space like a coffee shop, having headphones would be key, just in terms of the sound. But yeah, I think it can be flexible. And I saw you already found headphones earlier, Kathleen, so you're good to go there. Just on our website too, we can put this in the chat, but it has some kind of FAQs already. And it's on both of our websites. So if you go to amikazell.com or brianschwartz.org, you can find the links there. There's some questions, and let me just speak to it in case you're watching this and prefer to hear rather than have to go read the questions. So what we're saying is, can you relate that you want to make a shift in your career or your personal life, but you're having trouble doing so, right? I know a lot of folks are in that situation, and so you can identify in with that. Or you feel stuck, whether it's emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually, and need some help getting out of the mud, the proverbial mud. You can dream up goals, but you aren't sure how to pursue them, or you have trouble dreaming up those goals. Either of those, I find, especially in a group situation, it gives extra good ideas. We'll be facilitating and coaching, but the collective wisdom of the group will be there for you. Or this has been a big thing, especially in the pandemic, but I think it continues, is if you feel burned out and you're not sure how to take the next step. I was talking to a client last week about this, and you know, our vision can just be like so narrowed when we feel burned out. It's really hard to see the possibilities. So, you know, what we're doing is trying to open that space up, and then you're like, oh, look at that, you know, and you can kind of see where you could go. And then isolation, I think, especially too, you know, in COVID and afterwards, people can get really isolated. Or let's say you're, you know, a parent and you're spending all this time with your kids and at work or taking care of them all the time, and you don't have the kind of time you would like to be in community. We're providing some of that space, and in a space that's not a huge time commitment, that can kind of work for you. So those are some of those. We have a few other FAQs on there. And we could talk about cost as well. I guess, Amin, do you want to jump in with that?
Yeah, so the base price for this experience is priced at $600. We are offering an early bird discount for anyone who signs up by this Friday, which is September 15th by midnight. to receive a $100 discount. And also, if you recruit someone else, you can receive another $100 discount on top of that. So potentially just $400 for the cohort. That said, so if you signed up by Friday and then you got a friend to sign up by next Monday, we would refund you $100 for getting your friend to sign up. So that's a bonus to maybe get somebody you like to do this alongside you, or to help us get the word out a little bit, which we would appreciate. I'm going to put the link also directly to the sign up form into the chat.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
Thank you. And on there we say, just let us know your Venmo handle and we can send you a request. If for some reason you don't have Venmo, that's totally fine. Just fill out the form and we'll connect with you via email or phone around PayPal, or if you want to send a check or what have you. And like Amit said, we're willing to work with people, and we have these extra bonuses to try to make it affordable, because especially in the group coaching setting, like, we don't want to set some sort of bar that people can't get over and make it prohibitive. We'll probably do this again in the winter or spring at a higher price point, but we just really wanted people to have an entryway in to, as fall comes to get some of that support. I mean, the one other thing I would mention is sometimes people don't love the fall and winter, like, as the days get shorter, and that can be difficult. So yet one more kind of space of support to help with coping with that is what we provide. We also do individual coaching, and you can see that on each of our websites too, if that's something you're interested in. I think I have about 2 slots that I can do for that this fall with my various other consulting contracts and coaching clients. So if you're interested in that, I would say contact me sooner rather than later.
Yay.
Yeah.
Any other questions from y'all on the call? I wonder if there's anything that we didn't cover. I would say today's Tuesday, so we got about a week, right? We've got a week until we're planning to get started. I'm happy to connect with anybody individually. If you reach out to me, amitexcel@gmail.com, or Brian as well. I'm sure I'd be happy to chat more if you want to figure out if this is a good fit for you right now. Yes, and is there communication or touch bases in between calls? Yes, so we'll have a private WhatsApp group for everyone who's doing the fall group coaching cohort. So whether you're in Tuesdays or Thursdays, we'll all be in one WhatsApp group together, where we will check in between weeks. People can check in about their intentions, and we'll also, Brian and I will ask some questions and share resources through that group.
Yeah, so again, with the through line that I was saying earlier, we're trying to strike that balance between making sure that you have enough support, and especially every week, so that there's some things you can do asynchronously. I'll stay away from the H word, the homework word, but there'll certainly be some things that you can work on between the calls, and a lot of, reflection that we'll be doing, because again, we want that collective wisdom to work through. So, and, we're both available via text or what have you. So if things come up that you want to process, definitely feel free to reach out.
Yeah.
The other thing I want to say is, if you have friends or you're watching this recording and you're like, oh, this would be great for that person, but somehow we didn't answer one of their calls, we are actually doing an Instagram live on Thursday night at 7 p.m. Eastern. So we encourage you to join us then. It'll be somewhat of an experiment for us too, because typically we haven't done Instagram lives, but we practiced the other day. So it'll be fun. I'll have to try to make sure to keep my whole head on camera, or cut off my bald head sometimes, as if I have the hat on, but it'll be fun. And
the hat, Brian, bring back the hat.
I know I have that fun hat, so maybe you'll get to see my fedora on Thursday night if you tune in. That'll be on B Schwartz 47. That's the handle that I'll be using. I also have Brian _ Schwartz _ coaching, which I'll repost it there. But since I've got a lot more followers as of now on B Schwartz 47, I want to make sure that whole community is invited as well. And you can go I saw it in Ami's story yesterday that there was information about that as well. That's at Ami Cazell, I think, on Instagram. So lots of ways to do that. Don't hesitate to reach out with more questions in advance of next week, but definitely do sign up by Friday so you can get the discount. And that's Friday the 15th. And we look forward to hearing from you soon.
Yeah, thanks for coming. Thanks for checking this out. All right.
Take care.
See ya.